We have South and Southeast Asian art before 1200. This is a map. It's pointing out India and Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro. And this is the map with the current countries. India's shifted a bit to the left. You can see Cambodia on the right, and you can see where Angkor is. You can see the different locations of temples in India. With the Indus civilization, we have Mohenjo-Daro. This is the Great Bath looking northeast. Mohenjo-Daro, Pakistan. This is 2600 to 1900 BCE. It's used for ritual bathing and not purely recreational. It's made watertight by sealing the joints between the bricks with bitumen, a term you've heard before, which is an asphalt-like material, which was also used in Mesopotamia. This is also the Indus civilization, Mohenjo-Daro. This is a seal with a seated figure in yoga posture from Mohenjo-Daro, Pakistan. This is 2300 to 1750 BCE. This is most commonly found Indus art objects are these seals. They're steatite seals with incised designs. Most have an animal or tiny narrative carved on the face, along with as yet untranslated script. A boss or a circular knob is on the back, so the seal could be worn or hung on a wall. Sometimes they use the seals to make impressions on clay for securing trade goods wrapped in textiles. Animals used are the humped bull, elephant, rhinoceros, and tiger in strict profile. Some narrative seals indicate Indus people consider trees sacred, as both Hindu and Buddhists did later. This seal has a male figure with a horned headdress, maybe 3 faces, seated, maybe with an erect penis and yogic posture. This may be a prototype of the multi-headed Hindu god Shiva. This is also in Mohenjo-Daro. This is a robed male figure, and it's from Mohenjo-Daro, Pakistan, 2000 and 1900 BCE. This art was found is small in Indus civilization. They were all small. So they have half-closed eyes, they have a low forehead. You can see a closely trimmed beard with shaved upper lip. He wears a headband with a central circular emblem matched by a similar armband. Holes on each side of the neck suggest he also wore a necklace of precious metal. Trefoils, or clover-like designs with 3 stylized leaves, decorate his robe. They, as well as circles of the head, armbands originally held red paste and shell inlays, as did the eyes. And these are compared with Sumerian sculptures. This is also Indus civilization. This is a nude male torso from Harappa, Pakistan. This is 2000 and 1900 BCE. It's made of sandstone. It's 3 3/4 inches high. Many compare this with Greek statues, but the treatment of the anatomy is not classical Greek at all. It has a highly polished surface, and swelling of the curves of the abdomen capture the fluid movement of a living body. It does not conform to balance of harmonious proportion like Greek sculptures do. It has a pulsating vigor, and emphasis on sensuous surface is a chief characteristic of South Asian sculpture for thousands of years. Classical art of South Asia. South Asia, this is about 2000 BCE. The Aryans are mobile herding people from Central Asia and the Russian steppes. They're known for their horses and chariots, the Sanskrit language, hierarchical social order, and religious practices. They're mostly in the Punjab region of India. South Asia, the Vedic period. The Vedas, Veda means knowledge, is an ancient Hindu, they're ancient Hindu scriptures. It's a collection of hymns and other ancient religious texts composed in India between about 1500 and 1000 BCE. The Brahmins is a powerful priesthood. It's the highest caste, oversaw the fire sacrifice, the ritual enactment of highly intricate and lengthy ceremonies. The Kshatriyas is a member of the second of the four great Hindu castes, the military caste. It's the traditional function of the I can't hardly say these words. The it is a Kshatriyas is to protect society by fighting in wartime and governing in peacetime. The Vaishyas is a member of the third or of the four Hindu castes, comprising of the merchants and the farmers. And then we have the Shudras, which is a member of the worker caste. It's the lowest of the four Hindu castes. So these are all the caste system. South Asia, the Vedic period, the Upanishads is each of a series of Hindu sacred treatises written in Sanskrit from 800 to 200 BC, expounding the Vedas in predominantly mystical and monastic terms. They are written primarily by Brahmins, which was the highest caste, attempted to reform the Vedic ritual by emphasizing the unity between the individual and the divine. Samsara is the relentless cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth. Karma is an individual's past actions. We have Hinduism and Buddhism in this region at the same time, and they agree on karma, dharma, moksha, and reincarnation. They are different in that Buddhism rejects the priests of Hinduism, the formal rituals, and the caste system. Buddha urged people to seek enlightenment through meditation. Buddhism. There are 28 Buddhas. The Shakyamuni Buddha is a 5th century BCE Buddha. Prince Siddhartha Gautama is the supreme Buddha. Buddha means the enlightened one. He espoused some basic Upanishadic tenets, samsara, and the need for liberation. He rejected the authority of the Vedas and the hereditary class structure of the Vedic society. Asceticism is the self-discipline and self-denial as a means to free oneself from attachments to people and possessions. Nirvana is the escape from samsara. Here we have the meditating Buddha. This is from Gandhara, Pakistan, 2nd century BCE. It is made of gray schist. It is 3 feet, 7.5 inches high. And we'll look at it on the next page. It is the first anthropomorphic representation of the Buddha. It represents the changing perception of Buddha from the enlightened mortal to a divinity. And Buddha's followers desired images to worship. It's carved in the gray schist. It's the local stone. It shows Buddha with a halo, Ushnisha and Urna, dressed in a monk's robe, seated in yogic posture. The Ushnisha is the cranial bump. It symbolizes expanded wisdom the Buddha attained at the time of his enlightenment. Urna is the mark in the center of the Buddha's forehead, which refers to his supernatural wisdom. Buddha's hands overlap, palms upward, in the Dhyana Mudra, the gesture of meditation. The Maurya dynasty. These are Ashoka's columns. King Ashoka commemorated his embrace of Buddhism by erecting numerous columns across the land. This is the lion pillar image, the Loria Landagarth, India. It's circa 245 BCE. Ashoka's pillars are inscribed with legal code based on Buddha's teachings. They're 30 to 40 feet high. They're the first large-scale stone artworks in India. The pillars penetrated deep into the ground, connecting earth and sky, forming an axis mundi, which is an axis of the universe. Columns stood along pilgrimage routes leading to Buddhist monasteries. The seated lion, king of beasts, is a royal motif. Under the lion is a relief of flying geese, which is a link between heaven and earth for Indic peoples. This is also Maurya dynasty. It's the wheel of the law, the Shakadharma, 7 feet tall. It's made of polished sandstone. Sarnath is where Buddha gave his first sermon and set the wheel of law into motion. There are 2 pairs back-to-back lions. They stand on a round abacus decorated with 4 wheels and 4 animals, which symbolize the 4 quarters of the world. It's highly polished lions. They once carried a large stone wheel on their backs. The wheel, chakra, is a reference to the wheel of the law and indicated Ashoka's stature as a holder of the wheel, a universal king imbued with divine authority. A worldwide announcement of the Buddha's message. Period of Shunga and early Shatavahana. This is the Great Stupa at Sanchi, India. This is an important work to study. A stupa is a large circular mound modeled on earlier South Asian burial mounds. However, the stupa is not a tomb, but it's a monument housing relics of the Buddha. This is indicating the Dharmika, and then the Tirana outside is a gate. So this labels all of the architecture of the Great Stupa. Overall, the shape or architecture represents the crowned and seated Buddha in a meditation pose. The square represents the earth, dome represents water, spire represents fire, the upper spire represents air, and the topmost shape represents space. It's used as a meditation aid in place of pilgrimage. Worshippers engaged in clockwise circumambulation with the right side of the body closest to the stupa. The circumambulation is a ceremonial walking around of the stupa. The 4 gates, or Tiranas, mark the cardinal directions. They are decorated with scenes of the life of the Buddha, and Buddha has been represented in symbolic form in early years of the religion before he was represented as a man. He was represented by the wheel, a footprint, an empty throne, and a lotus flower. Like medieval churches, the decorations on stupas were meant to impart important stories to worshippers, many of whom were illiterate. This is part of the Great Stupas, the Great Departure. It's the East Tirana of the Great Stupa at Sanchi, India. The Kushan dynasty. We have the anthropomorphic representation of the Buddha. The Urna is the curl of hair between the eyebrows. The Ushnisha is the cranial bump. Dhyana mudra is a meditation mudra. This is the Gandhara style of Buddha, the meditating Buddha. It's from Gandhara, Pakistan, 2nd century. We already went over that. Kushan dynasty, the Bodhisattva is a Buddhist holy person who is about to achieve enlightenment but postpones it to remain on earth to teach others. This is made in the Gandhara style. You have a standing Bodhisattva, Maitreya from Gandhara, Pakistan, 3rd century CE. The Gupta dynasty, we have the Dharma Chakra mudra. We have the turning of the wheel of the law or teaching mudra. We have the seated Buddha here preaching his first sermon from Sarnath, India. Gupta dynasty, the complex of Buddhist caves at Ajanta. We have a Bodhisattva, Padmapani. It's a wall painting at the antechamber of Cave 1, Ajanta, India. Hinduism is the religion of the Indians, the mingling of the Vedic beliefs with indigenous local beliefs and practices. We have Vishnu is the preserver of the universe. He usually has 4 arms and wears a crown and lavish jewelry. Discus, conch shell, mace, lotus. Krishna is one of his incarnations. Shiva is the destroyer and the regenerative force. His symbol is linga, a phallus or cosmic pillar. He usually has multiple arms and heads. Devi is the great goddess, controls material riches and fertility, who takes many forms and has many names, Parvati, Lakshmi, Durga, etc. Vishnu is the preserver of the universe, usually has 4 arms and wears a crown, lavish jewelry. Krishna, we just read this. Lakshmi is the wife of Vishnu, and Brahma is the god of creation. This is the classic Gupta style. We have an image here. It's Vishnu asleep on the serpent Ananta. It's sandstone relief panel on the south facade of the Vishnu temple in Deogarh, India. This is Shiva, doing his cosmic dance. We have the destroyer and the regenerative force of Shiva. His symbol is Linga, and he usually has multiple arms and heads. That's how you can always tell him apart. Nandi is the bull that Shiva sometimes rides. Ganesha is the elephant-headed deity. It's the son of Shiva and Durga. And there's an interesting story about that, about Ganesh having his head chopped off, and they put on an elephant head. He used to have a regular head. So this is an example of the dancing Shiva. It's rock-cut sandstone relief, and it's in Badami Cave 1 in India. We have medieval Asia. We have 7th to 12th century Asia. South Asia, the Chola dynasty. We have, this is hard to say, Rajarajeshvara temple, the Rajarajeshvara temple. It's dedicated to Shiva as Lord of Rajaraja. The Vimana is a pyramidal tower over the Garbhagriha of a Hindu temple of the southern style. The Garbhagriha is in Hindi a womb chamber. So a lot of these temples have this inner sanctum that is the most holiest place in the temple. It's the housing of the god's image or the god's symbol. And these temples look like mountains, and they're reaching towards the heavens. So Rishvathana temple is the Lord of the world, another name for Shiva. So it's a Shiva temple. It's to honor him. Shikara is a mountain peak. It's the beehive-shaped tower of a northern-style Hindu temple. So the northern style has these mountainous beehive-looking tops to them. And this is in Khajuraho, India. The Mithunas, these are very interesting. The Mithuna relief is the detail of the north side of the Vishvanatha temple in Khajuraho, India. There's some good videos on this very graphic temple. It's in South Asian art. You have a male-female coupling, embracing, or engaged in sexual intercourse in these reliefs. It is the most important of the 5 Makara and constitutes the main part of the grand ritual tantra, variously known as Panchamakara, Panchatattva, and Tattva Chakra. Nataraja is the lord of the dance, Cholas dynasty. Still, we have Shiva Nataraja from the Tamil Nadu in India. This is an important sculpture to study. Shiva is Nataraja from the Tamil Nadu, India in 1100. It's made out of bronze. It's 2 feet tall, 11 and a quarter inches high. The gestures are narrative symbols. They're developed during the Chola dynasty. Shiva depicted dancing at a golden hall in the center of the universe where all the other gods are in attendance, although not shown. His hair has come undone and projects outward as he moves. His dance proves to all that he is a creator, destroyer, as well as a preserver of the universe. His right hand holds the drum that makes the sound of creation, which is related to the heartbeat, while the lower hand points to the raised left leg and makes the gesture of protection. The upper left hand holds fire, representing destruction, while the ring of fire around him represents the cosmos. The right foot tramples a dwarf-like creature, representing the triumph over ignorance and temptation. Worshipper believe that veneration of Shiva Nataranja can help the soul to achieve eternal serenity and salvation. Of Southeast Asia, we're in Java, Indonesia now, and this is the Borobudur Temple in Java, Indonesia, circa 800. Very interesting looking mounded temple. Sadhana visits the Bodhisattva Manjushri. It's a sandstone relief in Borobudur, Java, Indonesia, circa 800. Borobudur Temple is the largest stupa complex in the world. It took 75 years to build. It has an interlocking system of volcanic stone masonry. It contains 2,672 sculpted reliefs depicting the life journey and teaching of the Buddha, revealed to pilgrimage worshippers slowly during a ritual circumambulation. That is the ritual walking around. Its lowest level depicts desire and greed. The images of the upper 5 levels instruct worshippers on conquering attachment. The very top level has sculptures of the meditating Buddha and saints, as well as 5 mountain-like sculptures representing the 5 volcanoes that represent supreme bliss. In the top level, in the center, is a stupa pointing to the realm of nirvana. Southeast Asia, Java, Indonesia, we have a seated Buddha here with hollow stupas on the highest of the 3 circular terraces of Borobudur, Java, Indonesia. This is circa 800. Southeast Asia, Cambodia is the Khmer Empire. A Wat is a Buddhist temple, borrowed from Sanskrit meaning enclosure. So, Angkor Wat, Angkor, Cambodia, the first half of the 12th century. Angkor, the temple or Angkor Wat in the city of Angkor Thom, is Hindu. We have a temple complex originally built by the Khmer civilization, which now contains 100 stone temples, but originally contained palaces, public buildings, and smaller homes. It was built on land located in a strategic military position and had fertile farmland. They built to honor the Hindu god Vishnu. It's thought to line up with certain constellations. Short dimensions lie on the north-south axis. Its 108 towers represent a sacred number to Hindus and Buddhists. The centerpiece of 5 towers symbolize the 5 peaks of Mount Meru, the sacred mountain at the center of the universe. Not scared, but sacred. Southeast Asia, Cambodia, we have King Suryavarman II. This is King Suryavarman II holding court. It's a detail of a sandstone relief in the lowest gallery of the south side of Angkor Wat in Cambodia. We have, it's sandstone, it's on the lowest gallery, it's on the south side, okay? We've said that down there. Okay, so Suryavarman II sits on an elaborate wood throne, and its bronze legs are rising its cobra heads. He's kneeling retainers, smaller than the king because they are lesser figures in the Khmer hierarchy. They hold a forest of umbrellas and fans that are emblems of Suryavarman's rank. And in this image, it shows religion and politics are united. So we have a hierarchy of scale with the king being the biggest figure.